You are being detained until we can figure out who your name is. I'm giving you a chance to give me your name.
This video shows exactly why knowing your rights matters. This auditor was standing on a public sidewalk, lawfully taking photos, when all of a sudden he gets surrounded by deputies who demand ID without any suspicion of a crime. From the start, the officers admit he isn't breaking the law, but instead of letting him go, they try to twist the situation into a crime of failure to identify. Watch how he stands his ground and doesn't let them trample all over his rights.
Just investigative journalist gathering content for a story, that's all. There's my hands. Got nothing in my hands, all right?
Why are we taking pictures of the plant?
Why not?
Why not?
Yeah.
Raise a little bit suspicious.
It's not illegal though, right?
That's not illegal, however, it is suspicious in nature. With it being as, what it is. You have a vehicle with you?
I'm not answering any questions. Like I said, I explained to him I'm a journalist gathering content for a story.
You have an ID with you?
And so he's already confirmed I'm not breaking any laws. So.
Well, we're still talking to you. You need to identify who we're talking to.
I can't hear you. I'm sorry.
We're trying to identify who we're talking to just because it was called out that there was a suspicious person walking around with a photograph. So the way things are right now, we at least need to identify who we're speaking to so we can make a notation that you were in the area, who you were, and what you were doing. If you're taking photos, that's fine. But we still need to find out who we're talking to.
Who I am is an investigative journalist gathering content for a story.
Okay, I need your name.
And I'm taking photographs.
So that's perfect.
Unless I'm being detained. Am I being detained?
It's an investigation, so right now you are being detained.
I am being detained?
This encounter begins with an auditor standing on a public sidewalk peacefully taking photographs of a power plant doing nothing illegal when deputies suddenly approach and immediately begin questioning him, treating lawful activity as suspicious even though they admit right away that he is not breaking any laws.
What you're doing, therefore I'm asking you for your name.
What reasonable articulable suspicion do you have that a crime is afoot?
You're in an area taking photographs of a power plant.
Is taking photographs of a power plant a misdemeanor or a felony?
What is that? Sorry?
Is it a misdemeanor or a felony to take pictures?
It's not whether
right now you're failing to identify who you are while being investigated by law enforcement. That's the crime you're committing at this point.
What would that be?
Failing to provide identification to a law enforcement officer when you have been asked to do so.
Is that a crime?
Yes.
It is a crime.
You have to provide law enforcement with an identification or your name so that when it's been asked upon, you not do so.
Despite acknowledging that taking photos is not illegal, the deputies quickly shift their focus and begin demanding identification, claiming they need to know who they are speaking to, turning a simple interaction into a detention without clearly stating any reasonable suspicion of a crime.
But you've already confirmed that I'm not doing anything illegal. I'm not violating any laws.
Failing to identify yourself at this point.
There's no duty. I'm not refusing. Don't get me wrong. But there's no duty to identify if I'm not suspected of a crime.
Okay.
Is that right?
We're telling you right now, you're completing an investigation as to what you're doing and what you're photographing.
I've already told you that I'm an investigative journalist gathering content for story.
Along with that, we need to identify. We're asking you that we need to identify who you are, so we can make a notation that you were in the area and you're going to be in the area taking photographs. Okay, well, failing to provide law enforcement officer with a form of identification after you have been asked to do so is a crime.
Okay, so I'm not refusing. What will happen if I don't give you guys identification? Because I don't think it's any of your business who I am. You've already confirmed that I'm not committing a crime. What I'm doing is perfectly lawful. I'm standing on a public sidewalk.
The auditor calmly asks the key question, what crime do you suspect, and what legal authority do you have to detain me? But instead of answering, clearly the deputies attempt to twist the situation by claiming that failure to identify is now the issue, even though no underlying crime exists.
Not only is it, just let me finish. Not only is it perfectly lawful, it's constitutionally protected activity. Okay. Did you guys take an oath to uphold and defend the Constitution?
Okay. I'm not asking you whether or not you are going to be taking photographs on the side of the road. That's not what we've already clarified that. Right. However, what we're discussing now is the fact that you're failing to provide law enforcement with an actual identification or your name so that you can make a notation that we may contact you. Right?
This is a First Amendment protected right. You guys are detaining me unlawfully. And now you're forcing me to give up my identification, which is unlawful. And I'm going to give you guys a chance not to do that. I'm not refusing to do it, but I'm going to give you guys a chance not to unlawfully detain me.
We need to know who we're speaking to.
Are you going to give us your identification or not?
Am I going to be arrested or not if I don't give it to you?
It depends. Why are you refusing to give it?
Because it's none of your business who I am. It's my personal information.
I'm law enforcement officer. I have the right to find out who I am.
What is y'all's names and badge numbers? Sure. Do you have a supervisor?
I do. You want me to come over? Because I'll be more than glad
to. Please call your supervisor and we'll take it from there, okay? And I want to make it clear I don't consent to being detained. I'd like to be free to go and go about my business.
It's the loitering and prowling is what we were looking at because you're in an area at a time that's not common for normal people to be in. Photograph.
As pressure builds, the deputies continue insisting that he must provide identification while the auditor stands firm, explaining that without reasonable articulable suspicion, there is no legal duty to identify himself, making it clear that his rights are being violated in real time.
Like I expressed to Deputy Richardson, I do not consent to being detained. I would like to be free to go as soon as possible.
As soon as we can find out who you are and we can possibly identify who you are, you'll be more than welcome to go.
All right, sir. I'm going to advise you of the constitutional rights, okay? You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you in court. You have the right to talk to a lawyer for advice before we ask you any questions, and to have him listen during any question. If you cannot afford a lawyer, one will be appointed to you. Before any question, if you wish, if you decide to answer questions without a lawyer present, you'll still have the right to stop answering at any time. You'll also have the right to stop answering at any time until you talk to a lawyer. Do you understand these are those rights advice explain them to you?
Hi, I'm Sergeant Ford. How are you, sir?
Sergeant Ford.
Nice to meet you.
Well, what's your name, sir?
My name is Jeff. I'm an
okay.
investigative journalist. I'm just taking photographs. They've already advised me that that is not illegal.
No, it's not. And no, Jeff, I don't think you're a terrorist. Oh, fine, but if that's all you do is taking pictures.
Okay. Am I free to go?
Outside, Jeff.
I know it is. Am I free to go?
What's that?
Am I free to go?
Yeah.
We know
Okay.
who he is, right?
Yeah, what's that?
We didn't know who you are.
Well, you don't want to give us your last name or anything like that, Jeff?
I'd rather not if I'm not doing anything illegal.
He wouldn't even give us his first name.
What you said is Jeff. I mean, if it's Jeff, Jeffrey, I don't know.
Okay.
But no, you're not doing anything illegal.
Okay. So I'm free to go?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just going to head this way if I could just...
Oh, go ahead, Jeff.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Have a good day.
Jeff, you know that.
The situation intensifies when they double down on their claims, even reading him his rights in an attempt to escalate the encounter, but the auditor remains calm, composed, and confident, repeatedly stating that he does not consent to the detention and that his actions are fully protected under the Constitution.
Were you recording our conversation between the two of us?
I am, yes, sir.
Okay, well, you didn't tell me you were recording that conversation, did you?
No, sir.
Okay, that's illegal under the Florida statutes. You realize that?
Actually, it is
yeah,
not.
it's sort of Security Communications Act is what it is.
Not when it comes to public officials.
No, I think you're wrong, buddy. Okay, but you need to tell me you're recording me. If I'm talking to you, say, hey, I'm recording this conversation, and I'll be fine with that because you told me you're recording me, okay?
Okay, am I free to go?
Yeah, you're free to go.
Thank you.
So bring that to your
In that right
When a supervisor finally arrives, the entire situation shifts immediately as he acknowledges that taking photographs is not illegal, and without further escalation, the auditor is told he is free to go, exposing how unnecessary the detention and demands for identification were from the start. In the end, this encounter proves exactly why knowing your rights matters. The auditor stayed calm, refused unlawful demands, and forced law enforcement to confront their lack of legal authority, showing that the Constitution protects your freedom to record in public and your right to remain unidentified when no crime has been committed.